Hey, this is Ro, and welcome to day 2 of Crafts on the Go, Daisies. So let's get started. Today we're going to make a Shasta daisy, fuzzy daisy, or I think they're called crazy daisies. For materials, we are going to need white thread. We are also going to need the 1 3/8 inch pom pom maker, yellow yarn, and white yarn. Let's get started. And we're going to open up the 2 sides, and it's going to be nothing but yellow, and we're going to make this a full pom pom. We want to make sure that we're level with the bottom. Close the pom pom maker up and snip the top. We're going to do the same thing here. And the same goes for here. Close this up. And then you want to put your scissors through on your pom pom maker and cut all the way across. You want to make sure that you have all your yarns cut all the way through. Cut a piece of yarn. You're going to tie on one end. And you're going to spin it over and tie it on the other. And then tie it again. And then you're going to flip your 2 sides and pull it out. Since we don't need our 2 ends right here, you can trim that off and kind of make it even. Now you have the center of your flower. We're going to put this to the side until a little bit later, and we're going to start off with our petals. For the petals, I use my 3 fingers, and for this size yarn, I'm going to go ahead and pull it around my fingers 12 times. So that's 1, that's 2, 3, 4. At the 12th one, I snip the yarn, and you're going to take maybe about 4 inches of yarn or so, and you're going to cut it. Put the yarn between your fingers, like that, and pull it all the way down. When you pull it all the way down, you can take your fingers out of the yarn and just tie a knot. So a double knot, over, under, and then under, over. When you do the knots that way, that's how you do it in bookbinding. The knot doesn't become a slip knot, and it becomes tight. At this point, you also want to ensure that all your loops are even. You're going to pull everything together, and we're going to go ahead and start forming a petal. And you're going to make a little round ball bulb right there. Take a piece of yarn and just tie it at the end really tight. Let's go ahead and pull that down. And you don't want it too far in the middle of your petal, so you can pull it up a little bit. Okay. So go ahead and tie it once, and then tie it twice. Same concept. And then you can go ahead and cut it. right, then I'll trim this to be about the same length. And then we're gonna make it like it's a half pom-pom. So now you have something that looks like this. And it's okay if it's not all the same. From here, I take a needle and I take the eye of the needle, and I don't use a sharpen because it tends to get caught in the thread. You can use a sharpen if you want, but I take the eye of the needle and I will put it into the middle of the thread, and I just pull up and I'll separate the yarn. And you want to do that to all your strands of yarn. Okay, so now that you have it done for one, we want to have 4. All right, now we have 4. Let's go ahead and put our stuff away. So when you have 4 of these, you kind of want to look to see where you want to have the bottoms. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because we're going to sew all of these together for the petals, and we're going to end up putting a middle in. And then we're going to have a bottom. So I think I like this one to be inside because we don't want anybody to pull on that. So we'll start out sewing those two together. So you want to get a needle and thread, and you're going to go into where you've knotted here, where you've knotted your petal. And it's really important you go where you've knotted. You're going to go straight across and straight through, and you're going to go straight across and straight through to secure the first 2. It looks like this one comes up here. All right. Now that you secured these 2 vertically, you're going to go back straight through the first one, straight through the knot. And then you're going to go back through here again. And then you're going to stitch through that knot in the first one. So going back to the second and then back into the first. And you're going to do this a couple times. Again, going through the knot and into the second one. The first into the second. Now, I'm not hot gluing them together because I like the flexibility of the stitches, because you can manipulate them a little bit after you attach everything. And then you're going to go right back through where the main knot is, and then you're going to go directly through into the other side. So to review the stitches again, you want to go straight through the end to the other end of the second, back through the second, up through the second, into the first, back through, and you're going to loop through, out through the end, and then back through again. Okay? And we will attach the third. Same way. We'll go through it again. We'll go through the third. Now we've got a third in here. Now we're going to go through the third again, back up through. You're going through, so back of the back looks clean. You're going to stitch through the main knots. So you're going to go through the second knot here. It's a little bit hard to see because I have a loose one. You're going to go through and make a stitch. You make another stitch. Knot to knot. And then you're going to put the stitch all the way through the third one to the other side. Okay. All right. Then you're going to put your fourth one down. So I'm going to put it straight through in here. And then we're going to go back through the main knot. Up into the main knot. I like having the petals already done when I did the first flower because it gave me an idea of how many of them I needed to have and if this would close correctly and what it would look like. If you wanted to, you could try to put the petals secondary and fluff them out afterwards, but I liked to see how they would look and to make sure that I had the correct amount of petals. They do get in the way a little bit, but I've got patience. All right, one more time. Let's go ahead and pull that out of the way. All right, now we're going to close it off. So again, we've got this and we're going to go through the main here. So in we go. And this one, we're going to close it off. We're going to take this guy here. And this one is what's going to give the flower its cup. So it's going to hold on to the middle. And we're going to trim down our middle here so it's embracing the middle. I just don't want the flower to lay flat. We want the petals to embrace the flower like in real nature. So we're going to pull this together. Again, I'm going to pull it down. And pull it forward. Got it stuck. Got it stuck. All right. Okay. So once you have that in there, we want to tie a knot, and it's closing off like you would any other stitch. If you're a sewer, you want to go ahead and pull it through. You want to put your needle through once and go ahead and do it again. Make sure you grab it through a knot because that's what's stable in your pom-pom here. All right. Okay. All right, I'm not going to trim the outside yet because I want to see exactly how big this is compared to my petals. So I am going to flatten out one side of my middle of my flower. All right. So for the middle of the daisy, I am just going to hot glue this one down. All right. So let's just put a little boop. And then we can trim up the outsides a little bit. So let's just trim the outsides just a little bit. And there we go. We have our daisy. I hope you like this demonstration. Please hit the like buttons if you did, and please subscribe if you like this channel, and hit the notification buttons for our next one. See you next time. Bye.